This is Dan Wickware here. In this question, I'll be looking at question number 2092 in the book 200 Questions About the Bible and the Quran. The question is this: is Muhammad's self-proclamation of being a prophet a valid test or proof of prophethood? No in the Bible, but yes in the Quran. You know, in the Old Testament, there is a principle that in any matter of the law, it takes at least 2 or 3 witnesses to establish the truth of a matter. One witness is not enough. And this principle is found in Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 6, where it says, at the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall be, he that is worthy of death shall be put to death. But at the mouth of 1 witness, he shall not be put to death. This is repeated in Deuteronomy 19:15. 1 witness shall not rise against a man concerning any iniquity or any sin that he commits. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, the matter shall be established. Now, this principle is repeated in the New Testament, in the Injil, in a couple of places. 2 Corinthians 13:1 says this: by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word shall be established. So one person's testimony on itself is not enough. And Jesus himself used this same principle when the Jews accused him of just speaking on his own. Look at John 8, verses 13 to 18. It says this: the Pharisees therefore said unto him, thou bearest witness of thyself, thy witness is not true. Jesus answered and said unto them, though I bear witness of myself, yet my witness is true, for I know where I came from and where I go, but ye cannot tell from where I come and where I go. Ye judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me. It is also written in your law, the testimony of 2 men is true. I am one that bears witness of myself, and the Father hath sent me, bears witness of me. When Jesus says the Father himself bears witness of me, what's he talking about? He's talking about the miracles that he did. Jesus was left, right, and sideways. He was doing miracles every day. He was healing people, raising people from the dead, walking on water, stopping a storm. He was doing all kinds of miracles. And this is the testimony of the Father that bears witness of him. So Jesus is not just talking on his own. And, there's another principle in 1 Corinthians 14:32-33. It says this: and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. So the principle is this: if a person thinks himself to be a prophet, he better agree with what the previous prophets have said, because the spirits of the prophets, think of Muhammad, are subject unto the prophets. That's the previous prophets. So if Muhammad is a true prophet, everything that he says, not 80 or 90%, but 100% of what he says must agree with everything that the previous prophets said. Otherwise, he's not a true prophet. Okay, well, in this book that we're doing, 200 Questions About the Bible and the Quran, 75% of the questions asked are in disagreement. They have to be in unity. If it's from the same God, it would have to be in unity, because God's not the author of confusion, but of peace. And yet we see in the Quran, between the Bible and the Quran, there are dozens of contradictions, external contradictions between the Bible and the Quran. They do not agree on a lot of things. There's some agreement, but there's a lot of major disagreement concerning major doctrines and beliefs. And Isaiah 8:20 says this: to the law and the testimony, if they do not speak according to this word, that is, this word, the Bible, it is because there is no light in them. Okay? Now, let's look at the Quran. What does it say concerning these things? Nisa 4:79, we have sent you, Muhammad, as a messenger to mankind, and Allah is sufficient as witness. In other words, Muhammad is just saying, you got to believe me because I said it, and Allah is my witness. Well, if Allah is your witness, then where's the miracles, like Jesus and the other prophets did? Muhammad had no miracles. And he admits in the Quran several times that I can't do miracles. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I can't do miracles. But over and over again, his answer, Muhammad's answer, is Allah is sufficient as witness. Look at Nisa 4:166. Allah bears witness concerning that which he has revealed to you. In his knowledge he has revealed it, and the angels also testify, and Allah is sufficient as witness. Well, what angels are testifying? And what is Allah's witness? There is no miracles. And Muhammad, he claims to be the last and the greatest of the prophets. If he were the last and the greatest of the prophets, then he should be doing more miracles than Jesus or the other prophets. And yet we see none of this in the Quran. Rod 14:43. The disbelievers say, you are not a messenger of Allah. Say, Allah and those who have knowledge of the book are sufficient as witness between me. Well, Allah is silent. There's no miracles going on. And those who have knowledge of the book, that's talking about the Jews and the Christians. Well, the Jews and the Christians do not rubber stamp Muhammad, because Muhammad and his words in the Quran are coming against the Christians' doctrine, and it's coming against the Jews. It's cursing the Jews, in fact. The Jews, they do not and would not acknowledge Muhammad, and neither do the Christians. So those who have knowledge of the book, well, that's talking about the Jews and the Christians. They don't rubber stamp Muhammad. Feti 48:28. He it is who has sent his messenger with the guidance and the religion of the truth, that he may cause it to prevail over all religion, and Allah is enough for witness. When he says Allah is enough for witness, well, if there was a real witness, if there was miracles going on, that would help establish Muhammad's credentials, but there's none of that in the Quran. And Jesus says, I'm the one that bears witness. I am one that bears witness, and the Father that sent me. The Father that sent me, he's doing all of these miracles to prove. So when you appeal to Allah as witness, there should be miracles that you would expect. That's what Jesus was talking about when he said, and the Father that sent me, he bears witness. So when the Quran asks you to believe that Allah is witness, that's asking you for blind belief. So ignorance is required. Ignorance of the holy books is required, because you have to know what's in the Old Testament and in the New Testament to compare and understand if the Quran agrees with the Bible or not. So it's Muhammad is depending upon the ignorance of the people around him to believe. And at the time of Muhammad in Saudi Arabia, it was called the period of ignorance. It's called the Jahiliyyah. Many of the people did not know how to read or write, so they couldn't compare what Muhammad was writing in the Quran with what was in the Bible. And there were very few Bibles around even to cross-check. And so the question is this: is Muhammad's self-proclamation of being a prophet a valid test or proof of prophethood? No in the Bible, but yes in the Quran.